what the world was like when Fernando Alonso last won a race. Or, alternatively, possibly what has happened, how things have changed since Alonso last won a race. Now get me right, I really like Fernando Alonso. As a balding, old McLaren fanboy, or rather, old guy, the respect for Fernando Alonso runs deep. He won races for McLaren, and in his second stint at the team, he gave it his all in a rubbish piece of trash of a car that wasn't worthy of being driven by Nikita Mazepin's butler's dog. Never mind one of the finest Formula One pilots of the century so far. Yeah, he moans a lot, but so would I if I had his ability behind the steering wheel coupled with his less sought-after ability of seemingly almost always, bar Renault and the first time, and Aston Martin, joining a team when it's about to start a downward spiral. One of the greatest and one of the unluckiest, the Spaniard.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Has won only 32 races. Yeah, I say only. That is a rather high amount, top 10 all time. But his last win was the 2013 Spanish Grand Prix. Let that sink in. We're going for 11 years. That was before Max Verstappen, 3-time world champion, 60-odd race winner, had made his debut. So that's 11 years, and counting. Lewis Hamilton just broke his own multi-year win duck at Silverstone a few days ago, so maybe, just maybe, Alonso can follow suit. My strange little brain works in funny ways, and I've been wondering what the world was like when Alonso last crossed the checkered flag first. And now you reap the rewards of my strangeness. Please enjoy this list with moi. What the world was like when Alonso last won a Formula One Grand Prix. Number 14, yes, it's a list. Barack Obama was president of the good old US of A. Yes, the deep-voiced one was Prez. The conspiracy theory that his wife was a dude wasn't that well known, and that orange-haired fella who got shot this weekend was still known as an eccentric real estate developer who managed to somehow marry the prettiest of pretty females, and he still had all of his ear before that crazy guy shot off a bit of it. 13. Lando Norris was, get this, 13 years old. Now that makes a guy feel old. Max was 15. Lewis Hamilton was a prime 28, and the statistical GOAT had only won one Formula One World Drivers' Championship. Sebastian Vettel was on his way to winning his 4th straight World Drivers' title for Red Bull in their first dominant run. 12. The grid in 2013 looked a lot different. Alonso was in a Ferrari, partnered by Felipe Massa. Kimi Raikkonen was driving for Lotus, and his teammate was Romain Grosjean. Red Bull was powered by Renault and driven by Vettel and Mark Webber. McLaren was in the hands of Jenson Button and Sergio Perez, and Daniel Ricciardo was driving a Toro Rosso. A number of teams have stopped existing or changed their names since then. Lotus, Force India, Toro Rosso, Caterham and Marussia are names that aren't around on today's grid anymore. 7. Being Alonso's final thus far win wasn't the biggest shock at the Spanish GP from that era. That honour of course belongs to a certain Mr. Pastor Maldonado, who won the 2012 edition in Spain. His only win in an eventful career, and also thus far being Williams GP's last win. 10. It's been 11 years, more than 4,000 days since the Spaniard last won a race. In that time we have had 3 football World Cups, won by Germany, France and Argentina. Cristiano Ronaldo was in the middle of his spell at Real Madrid. Gareth Southgate was coaching England under 21, and Roy Hodgson, should I say Roy, was managing the senior squad. Harry Kane was 19 years old and on loan at Norwich. Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur for the uninitiated, were coached by Tim Sherwood, and some unknown Scottish guy called Alex Ferguson was a week away from winning Man United's, also thus far final, Premier League title. shutting up the noisy neighbours for a while and knocking Liverpool off their perch and fading off into retirement before giving over the Old Trafford reins to another Scotsman, Mr. David Moyes. Now what could possibly go wrong there?
Okay, at the moment we have a neighbour, and sometimes neighbours are noisy. But you can't do anything about them. You've got to get on with life, and we're going on with our life.
9. Alonso has retired from Formula 1 since he last won a race. Well, he's still there, you say? Well, at the end of 2018, disheartened by McLaren's poor car and lack of development, Alonso called it quits and announced his Formula 1 retirement. He went on to try his hand at sports car, at endurance racing, and attempted to win the Indy 500, and dabbled in rally as well, entering the 2020 Dakar and finishing 13th. Come 2021 and he returned to F1 at Alpine and has looked like the driver of old ever since. Number 8. COVID. Corona was only a beer brand in 2013 and no one had heard of COVID. Nothing more. That's all I'm saying on this. 7th. Mercedes had not yet won a single Constructors' Championship. Since Alonso's last win, they've won 8, putting them level with McLaren in the all-time standings. 6. Lewis Hamilton had a single World Drivers' Championship and was the winner of 21 Grand Prix. Now, of course, Hamilton has 7. And now has a total of 104 race wins. It's been a while. Number 5, Daniel Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, and Lando Norris. What about them? Well, since Uncle Fernando last won a race, all of these guys have become race winners. Max has won 61. This is before the Hungaroring Grand Prix in 2024, since Alonso last won 1. Ocon. Yes, Ocon has more recently been a winner than one of the greatest of all time. Ironically, Alonso was largely responsible for Ocon's win when he was teammates with him at Alpine and he drove a brilliant race backing up his less iconic teammate. Number 4. Music? Well, some of the top songs from the year of Alonso's last top spot included Roar from Katy Perry, Get Lucky from Daft Punk, Best Song Ever from One Direction, Wagon Wheel from Darius Rucker, Started from the Bottom by Drake, Royals by Lorde, and Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. Number 3. Some of the memorable things of the year of Fernando's last triumph include What Does the Fox Say going viral on YouTube, adult onesies being all the rage, and a new dance move that popped out. What was it called, you ask? Twerking. Yes, mate. Feel old with me and with the Spanish goat. Number 2. You know all the chaos in Ukraine? Well, none of that had happened yet. Ukraine was a semi-peaceful, pretty corrupt former Soviet state. The Crimean Peninsula was still under control of Kiev, and the rest of the world really didn't believe that Russia was a genuine threat to them. It wasn't until 2014 that Russia suddenly wanted control of Crimea and took it, and gave NATO and Ukraine themselves a preliminary wake-up call, which Vlad the Invader would only top himself when invading the Ukrainians a few years later. Number 1. GTA 5 was released on 17 September 2013. Alonso won the Spanish GP on 12 May 2013. PlayStation released the PS4 November 2013. The same month, Microsoft dropped the Xbox One. In summary, it's been a while. No, it's not been a while. It's been a long time since poor Fernando Alonso won a race. I firmly believe this man has more than enough talent to again top the podium despite being in his 40s. Can Aston Martin provide him the car to do so? I don't know, that's a different question. Despite his 4,000 odd day winless streak, Alonso is 7th on the all-time list with 32 Grand Prix wins. He has more wins than legends like Lauda, Mansell and Jackie Stewart. So the man has not done a bad job. He has 2 World Drivers' Championships to his name. He was the man to end Michael Schumacher's dominance. He has wins for Renault, McLaren and Ferrari. And yet he could have done so much more. If he joined Ferrari at a different time, if he signed for Red Bull, a team he was rumored to and connected to so many times, if he didn't leave McLaren the first time after feuding with Hamilton and Ron Dennis, or not rejoined them the second time. So many ifs. In the end, things happened like they did and nothing can change history. And with that saddish note, we've reached the end of another video. Much respect to Fernando Alonso. And this was meant in no means as a disrespect to him. This was just for interest's sake. I found it interesting to think of how long it's actually been. But either way, thank you very much for joining us. It would be pretty awesome if you would consider subscribing to the channel and checking out our shorts or some other stuff on the channel. But you do you. Hey, I'm not in the Godfather movie. I can't make you an offer you can't refuse. Either way, God bless you and goodbye.